Planning and scheduling. You know, we use these words all the time, pretty much as if they mean the same thing. But what if I told you that in the world of project management, getting them mixed up is one of the fastest ways to completely derail a project? Today, we're going to dive into that critical difference.
So let's just ask it straight up. Are they the same thing? Look, in our everyday lives, maybe the difference doesn't matter all that much. But when you've got millions of dollars and some really tight deadlines on the line, well, mistaking one for the other is an absolute recipe for disaster. Let's break down exactly why.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at a real-world conflict. Then we'll zoom out to see the 5 big functions of management. From there, we'll get right into the planning versus scheduling debate, uncover the hidden powers of a schedule, check out the modern tools that make it all happen, and we'll finish up with the one big takeaway you need to remember.
To make this all feel real, let's start with a pretty high-stakes scenario right from the construction industry. We're talking about a contractor's bid. Okay, so imagine a contractor trying to win a massive project. To even see if the deadline is remotely possible, they just sketch out a simple bar chart. So the question is, at this stage, is that planning or is it scheduling? The answer is, it's planning. This isn't a detailed schedule at all. It's really just a quick and dirty check to see if the whole thing is feasible. Now, that simple sketch from our contractor, that's just one tiny piece of a much, much larger puzzle. To really see the whole picture, we need to zoom way out and look at the 5 core functions of management. This is the framework that really governs any successful project. At its heart, this is really what management is all about. It's not just barking orders, right? It's about creating the right conditions, that perfect environment for a team to actually come together and nail a common goal. So according to management theory, it all happens through these 5 core functions. See, planning kicks it all off, but it's deeply connected to organizing the work, staffing the team, directing the effort, and then controlling the outcome. The thing is, none of these work in a vacuum. They all depend on each other. Okay, now let's zero in on that very first function, planning. It's time to finally get to the heart of its relationship with scheduling. This is where all the confusion usually happens. And here it is. This is the crucial point. Planning is all about the big picture thinking. It answers the questions of what are we doing and, just as important, why are we doing it? Scheduling, on the other hand, is the tactical, time-based action plan. It answers when things will happen and how the sequence is going to unfold. So one creates the framework and the other executes within it. This slide really shows you the proper order of things. See, the whole planning process gives birth to mission statements, budgets, and the overall strategy. And notice, schedules are just one of the outputs of that process. It's not the process itself. I absolutely love this analogy. Think of your entire project plan like a giant iceberg. The schedule, the Gantt chart, the timeline, the list of dates, that's the part everybody sees. It's the tip sticking right out of the water. But what you don't see, what's supporting that little visible tip, is the enormous hidden base of planning that's sitting right below the surface. We're talking strategy, budgeting, resource allocation, the mission itself. Without that solid foundation, the schedule is totally meaningless and it'll just fall apart. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, once a project gets the green light, that simple initial schedule, it transforms from a static blueprint into a dynamic engine that literally drives the entire project forward. Let's jump back to our contractor for a second. Remember their initial schedule? It was a simple planning tool. That's it. Its only job was to answer one fundamental question. Can we even get this done in the time they're giving us? It was all about feasibility. But the moment they win that job, that simple sketch just explodes in complexity. It has to evolve into this detailed powerhouse that complies with the contract, manages all the resources, and actively blends all those management functions, planning, organizing, and controlling, into one single powerful tool. Now, this incredible transformation, it's really only possible because of the amazing software we have today. These modern tools turn what used to be just a static timeline on a piece of paper into a dynamic, living database for the entire project. Modern scheduling platforms, they aren't just for drawing pretty charts. No way. They are complex relational databases. They store huge amounts of interconnected data, durations, logic, resources, costs, calendars,
All of it working together to forecast progress and flag problems before they even happen. And this is where the real power is. Managers use these custom codes to slice and dice all that project data. So a responsibility code can track who's doing what, which helps with staffing. A geographical code helps organize work on a massive site. This is how a modern schedule actively supports every single one of those other management functions. It's pretty brilliant.
So, after all of that, what's the one core idea you really need to remember about the relationship between planning and scheduling? This quote from the source material really just says it all, doesn't it? Scheduling is a vital component, it's an essential output of the planning process. But it's only one piece of a much, much larger and more strategic puzzle.
So the next time you look at a project timeline, I want you to ask yourself this. Is this thing just a simple to-do list, just showing what comes next? Or is it a dynamic, intelligent tool that's actively helping you plan, organize, staff, direct, and control the entire effort? Because that difference, that's everything.